Hello everyone, today we are going to see what is an integrated circuit and the classification of IC. In this video you are going to see what is the definition of an IC and what are the advantages of IC over discrete components and how the integrated circuits are classified. Now, the definition of IC is nothing but it is a miniature circuit which consists of active and passive devices that are interconnected on a single crystal silicon chip. Okay, so here the active and passive components are nothing but the transistor and diodes are comes under active components, whereas the passive components are resistors and capacitors. Now we will see what are the advantages of an IC compared to the discrete components. Since the transistors and the passive elements are fabricated on the same plane, it is in small in size. Okay. And also the cost is greatly reduced because of having a batch processing. The batch processing means multiple number of processes are involved while fabrication of circuits on an IC. And also it is having a better functional performance, and because of absence of solder joints the system reliability will be more, and the major advantage of IC is it is having less power consumption and having high operating speeds when compared to the discrete components. Okay, now we are going to see how the ICs are classified. So the ICs are classified based on three parameters. The first parameter is based on the signal type. We are calling it as an operation of signals on an IC. So one is a linear IC and second one is a digital IC. Here the linear IC is nothing but these ICs will only operate on continuous signals. We are calling these continuous signals or analog signals. And the second one is a digital ICs. Here these digital ICs will operate only on the digital signals. We can call these digital signals or also a binary signals. And the second classification is generation of ICs, which means that the number of active devices that are placed on unit chip area, we are calling it as a generation of ICs. And the third one is the fabrication technology. In this, how the ICs are fabricated by using which method. Okay, so again these are divided into two types. One is a monolithic IC and the second one is a hybrid IC. Now we are going to see in detail what is a generation of ICs. As we know that these ICs are classified based on the number of active devices that are placed per unit chip area. Just simply considering one table here, depending on the technology used, the count of transistors are displayed. If you consider the first technology is small scale integration. So in the small scale integration 3 to 30 gates per chip used, and the transistors used is 10 to 100 in the year 1960 to 1965 it is introduced and is used, and the application is logic gates. And the second one is a medium scale integration. In this 30 to 300 gates are used, which includes 100 to 1000 transistors per chip, and it is introduced and used in the year 1965 to 1970, and the application it is used is adders and counters. And the third one is large scale integration. Here 300 to 3000 gates, which includes 1000 to 20,000 transistors are used. It is introduced in the year 1970 to 1980, and the application it is used is arithmetic logic unit, RAM and ROM. And the fourth one is very large scale integration. It is having more than 3000 gate chips with the transistor use of 20,000 to 1 lakh, and it is introduced and used in the year 1980 to 1990, and its application is use of 16-bit 32-bit microprocessors. And the fifth one is ultra large scale integration. It is having greater than 30,000 gates per chip with use of transistors 10 power 6 to 10 power 7, and it is introduced in the year 1990 to 2000, and its application is Pentium processor. And the sixth one is a giant scale integration. It is having more than 10 power 7 transistors per chip. Okay, this is the brief introduction of generation of ICs. Now we are going to see the third one, that is the based on fab technology. So based on the fabrication technology, these ICs are again divided into two types. One is a monolithic IC and the second one is a hybrid IC. If you consider the monolithic IC, so the monolithic is the word that is derived from the Greek language. So in the Greek language, the mono means single, whereas this lithos means stone. So finally the monolithic means the single stone. It means that the number of active components, passive components, and the interconnections among active and passive components are made on a single crystal chip of silicon. Okay, so it comes under a monolithic IC. We can call this monolithic IC is also called as a planar technology, since the different processes are involved in the manufacturing of different components on a single plane. Means only one IC is fabricated in this monolithic IC. And the second one is an hybrid IC. So if you see this diagram, on a single plane multiple ICs are placed, which means that hybrid IC consists of multiple number of ICs, and how these are manufactured is simply it will take the number of individual ICs and are placed on a glass substrate which is made up of silicon, and the interconnections among these ICs are made by using a wire bonds or a metallization pattern. So this is how the ICs are classified. Thank you.